Hi, welcome to Jacobs Homestead. Today we're going to be making kombucha, and I'm going to show you how I make mine, and let's get started. First, I fill my jar. Get one of these old pickle jars if you have, or any kind of, but make sure it's real sterile and clean. And I do mine differently. Everybody does theirs differently, but I fill mine halfway with cold water. Okay. What I do is I take 5 black tea bags, put them together, and I tie them, okay, so they don't get loose. And, okay, what I did is I boiled some water, and I'll put the 5 chaga tea bags, not chaga, sorry, 5 black tea bags in the water, and I'll let that steep for like 10 minutes. Okay, and while that's steeping, okay, this is what I store my my kombucha scobies in. You have to have a SCOBY. Sometimes at health food stores you can buy them. You can buy them online. I don't recommend it because I got mine, the first one I bought, I got online and it was all busted open and it wasn't no good. Let's see if I can show you in there. I don't know if you can see that. The SCOBYs that I have. Okay, I keep them in this big cookie jar in my fridge, because you will build up a lot of them and you can give them out to friends. They're great for the chickens if you have too many of them. They're great for your garden, but they're also great for your health. Okay, so we'll get back to you in a few minutes. This has got to steep for 10 minutes, and then we're going to put 1 cup of sugar with it, and then I'll show you what else we're going to do. Okay? Okay, I don't know if you can see that very well. These are my SCOBYs. Oh, the lighting is not that great, but you'll see when I pull them out anyways. But that's just a little cookie jar that I keep them in. Okay, it's been just about 10 minutes, so I'm gonna take this cover off. Take the tea bags out. I don't know if you can see that very well. I'll move this back. Take the tea bags out. I usually lay them across there and just kind of press that extra tea out of there. Okay. Paper towel over there. And then you add 1 cup of sugar. Usually I use sugar in the raw, but I was out. I was down to like a 1/4 cup, so I mixed it with the white sugar, which I don't usually have except on the holidays when they're doing a lot of, my girls like to do cooking and stuff. And that's what they bought. But usually I buy the sugar and raw when I can get up to the Pioneer Place, which is an Amish store up north. But anyways, you add 1 cup of sugar. Okay, and then this is going to go back on the burner. Oh, actually you don't have to if it's dissolved. You just got to make sure it's dissolved really good. This is pretty hot, but sometimes if it's not hot enough you might have to put it back on the burner. Just keep stirring it and leave it for a few minutes till it really gets hot and really melts that sugar up really good. I'm waiting to get my canning shelves in my pantry room, so my tomatoes are still sitting out on my counter because I have nowhere to put them right now. My daughters had a bridal shower this Saturday that I'm buying them. It was just kind of hectic. But anyways, okay, that feels like it's pretty well dissolved. So once you get that dissolved, now you can't put a SCOBY in with hot tea, because it'll kill the SCOBY. It has to be room temperature. It can't be too cold, it's going to take forever, and it can't be boiling hot either. That's why I mix cold water, okay? And I'm going to, let's see, put this in and mix it with the cold water so it's not so I can get it to pour. I just don't want it too hot all at once. Sometimes if it's too hot, I'll add a little bit of ice if I don't want to wait around to make sure, because you can't put a SCOBY in there when it's boiling hot or too cold. It has to be the right room temperature. Let's see if I can pour the rest of this in. See, a lot of people boil the whole jar and it takes longer. I'd rather steep it stronger. Instead of boiling a gallon of water and doing the tea and have to wait all those hours for it to cool, I boil half of it with the same amount, 5 tea bags, so it's super strong, and then it dilutes in here. So this is a little bit warm, but I have to add more cold water, so let me add some more cold water to that. I'm blessed to have well water. Some people don't have that. Whoop. Okay, and then I'm gonna have room for the SCOBY. Okay. Still feels a bit warm. I might have to add ice, but I got it. Or I didn't know. I wasn't sure because I haven't made this since spring because I've been busy with my garden. So I didn't know if I had enough kombucha in here. So I picked up a bottle. You can buy it at the grocery store, but it's like $5 a bottle, between 4 and 5, and the organic kombucha. Okay, this is raw. I do have some broth in there. I guess I could use, but let me rinse the ladle. Sorry about that. It's my husband. Okay, so then what I do, I'm going to take a separate spoon. Just taste it, make sure it's not too hot. It's perfect temperature, it tastes good. Okay. Now, I'm going to take my SCOBY. If I can get it apart. It doesn't matter what size you get because they always grow. Okay, this is what a SCOBY looks like. They look pretty nasty, but it's actually a culture. Okay, let's see. I'll put that in there. Now, usually, when I make this, if I go to make it again and the SCOBY's already in there, I'll pour this, once it's the right consistency, usually 7 to 10 days. You want to taste it a little bit after, start about 7 days, get a tablespoon, just taste it. If it's too sweet, it's still not ready. If it's too vinegary, then it went too far and it could have alcohol in it, so you don't want it to go that far. So once the 7 days start, just taste a tablespoon every day, use a clean spoon, and when it gets that little bit bubbly and it's just the right consistency and it has enough sweetness that you like, then you take it and you pour it or ladle it into, I have these jugs, and you can put them in there and then refrigerate it, because if you don't refrigerate it, it can explode a bottle, so you want to make sure you refrigerate it and it'll stop fermenting. And then you can save SCOBYs, or if you make another one, okay, instead of mixing the hot and cold together, because once the SCOBY's in the jar, I leave it in the jar, and I always leave a little bit of kombucha in there because it needs something to get it started. And what I'll do is I'll use a separate jar and mix, or I'll take the pan that I boiled the water in and mix the cold water with it and mix it and get the right temperature there, and then pour it in when it's the right temperature, because you cannot pour ice cold or boiling hot on the SCOBY because it's just not good for it. And so it looks like it's beginning to float now. It'll look kind of gross, but it's actually a lot of probiotics in there and healthy culture, and it's really good for you. And I don't have much. Well, let me see what I have for juice. Oh, let me use the ladle. I'll rinse it again. Okay. Because you should have some kombucha juice. It helps it get going quicker. Okay. And when this is done, you can add, what do you call it? That'll be fine, because you know what? After I make this, I'll pour some of that juice in here, so I'll just have that extra juice. Okay, that's good. That's perfect. Okay, then this goes back in my fridge. This one here. So if I wanted to make, like when it gets closer to winter, we drink this more. In the summer, I drink so much of the my vitamin teas with the fresh herbs in them, and then I drink this in the winter time. We're inside, and it's really good with meals. And it's really good and healthy for you. It's healthy for your digestive system. So then I'll take this off. Okay, and I'll come back in a minute. I'll take the camera off so you can see inside how it looks. Okay, so this is what your SCOBY will look like. And your chaga. I keep saying chaga because I made an earlier video previously of chaga. And that's what it'll look like. Okay? Okay, so once you get this done, Okay, it should be in a dark place. If I usually keep mine in a cabinet above my refrigerator. If you don't have a spot to keep it where it's already dark, then just put it. You can leave it where it's warm in your house. It can't be in a cold spot, and it can't be too hot. But like 72, 74 degrees, that's good for them. It'll make it work fast. And then what I do is I use a coffee filter over the top so you don't get fruit flies or any kind of bacteria in it, and a rubber band. And I just put that over the top, and it works great for me, and it's sanitary. I can get a clean coffee filter every time if I want to. And then I just put that up in my cupboard, and then I mark on my phone calendar alarm so I don't forget. In 7 days, I mark it when I made this kombucha. So in 7 days we'll check it, and that's what you do. And it should be nice and fizzy, but not too sour, just nice and sweet. But everybody makes it the way they like it. But you don't want to go past like 12, 14 days, depending on how big your SCOBY is. Because if it's tasting vinegary, there's going to be alcohol in it, and you don't want to give that to children. We make it so there's no alcohol in it. We make it within 7 to 8, 9 days. I found when I was making it before, it was 11 days. It was exactly 11 days. It was perfect for us. But depends on the size of your SCOBY and how fast you get started. But try making some. I'll see if I get a chance. I'll put some information on it. But kombucha is a great drink. It's free to make. Well, it's not really free. It's a cup of sugar and 5 tea bags of black tea. So, and some water. If you have well water, spring water, it's good for you. But it's so cheap to make. It's less than, probably, I'd say, maybe less than $1 or $2 to make it. And you get a whole gallon. And then you refrigerate it. And if you like flavored, I had, when I was selling, I still have Thrive, I used to buy the dehydrated berries, or any kind of raspberries or berries. And when you put it in the fridge, you can put the berries in it and let it get that flavor, and then take them out after 2 days or 3 days so it doesn't start to ferment again. But that's what I did, and the blackberries were awesome, and it was really good. So thanks. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and there's a little bell on the side. If you get a chance, hit that if you want to be alerted every time there's a new video coming out. And we'll do what we can. I don't have many garden ones right now because it's fall, so, but this is what I do through the winter. A lot of canning, a lot of cooking, getting ready and prepping for the long winter months. And they're saying it's going to be well, at least I feel very strong that it's going to be a really snowy winter this year, because they say when the beehives are way up high in the trees, that means it's going to be a lot of snow. And one year they were in the ground. We had a blueberry field, and the beehives were in the ground, so we didn't even want to go pick blueberries. And they said when they're low to the ground, there's not going to be much snow. But when they're up high, very high, I mean, this was really, really high. We saw a beehive at my niece's house, and they say that means a lot of snow. So we'll see. But I'm going to be ready. I'm going to get my food ready. And when you have a big family, and we have 10 children, and I have 2 still at home, but the other ones are come around. And like my daughter just came home from New Hampshire, and she wanted my pickled beets, she wanted my pickles and different things. So I'm still feeding and giving a lot away to my older kids, so, and their families. So I still like to cook in bulk. So anyways, thank you again. Sorry for rambling. Have a blessed day, and God bless y'all.